Hello everybody, and welcome to another video of Green Square Talks Battlebots here. And back for another episode review, oh my gosh, I'm already forgetting what episode it is. I think 5?
5, yes.
Yeah. But joining me here, we got Porinog right down below, and maybe we'll see Civilian Arc at some point. We'll probably find out. How's it going, Pori?
It's going okay. I had a 7 and 8 week, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, it was an okay episode.
Yeah, same here. I think, yeah. I went 7 and 1 in terms of predictions as well. We missed the same one because I think we had the same exact predictions for this episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, with the only one we missed being the first fight. But
thank God it was my least confident pick overall, so I only went.
Yeah, that's true
with
me as well. Actually, it might have actually. No, yeah, it was that one. That was my least confident pick, but yeah, it was a pretty good episode overall in my opinion, and some of them didn't go as well as I was hoping for, and we got a few fights that I was hoping we'd get to see this season. I was really hoping Gigabyte and Captain Shrederator is one I was really hoping to get to see all season. Same thing with Endgame and Witch Doctor, which we'll discuss in a little bit. But
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's time. Let's go ahead and get to the first fight of this video. Alright, we got Uppercut and Free Shipping to start it off, and
damn, we're watching Uppercut versus Free Shipping. Holy shit, that's some big lore right there.
Well, look who finally decided to show up.
Wow.
Hey, it's not my fault that you decided not to ping me. Fucking
I said that we were going to start at 8, and I don't typically ping when I'm going to hop in the VC, mister.
Oh, come on,
To be fair,
man.
I probably would have forgotten to if you hadn't told me in my server.
Yeah. But yeah, this was a pretty good fight to start it off, including we got to see Uppercut blow up another fuel tank, and I'm not sure if it was bigger than the Sawblaze one or not, but it's always fun to see an explosion. But the one thing I did not like was how I think Battlebots advertised it way too much to try to hype up this season. Because Pori and I are Battlebots supporters here, and before we got the first fight card, which was a month or two before the season began, they showed us an image showing Uppercut blowing up a fuel tank, but they didn't reveal who it was until the trailer.
I think that was actually the first fight pick we got, period. It was just like Uppercut and like a thing of flames. And I do believe this was a larger explosion than the Sawblaze one. I think somebody said that.
That would make sense. But yeah, I'll leave the floor to you two on this one.
It was definitely a fun fight. Free Shipping did drive it well though, and Uppercut Uppercut's just a terrifying robot and it's destructive. Well, there is one thing to note. Uppercut probably should have been counted out too. It probably should have been a double KO, if we're being honest. I mean, Uppercut still would have won it, without question. But it probably should have been a double knockout, because Uppercut did not have drive on one side at the end of that fight. And you could even make an argument, because Free Shipping was kind of moving around as well, so until it got like stranded on the wall. But it is what it is. Uppercut would have won regardless, so it's nitpicking. But yeah, it was a fun fight. Sad to see the robot that I sponsor blow up, but you know. The one thing I should acknowledge that I feel though is if Free Shipping does really well in its third fight, I feel like it's definitely a contender for being one of the 1 and 2 bots to get into the bracket, because both of its losses were, in my opinion, very good losses. But yeah.
What do you got, Favela Arc?
I'm a Favela.
Why not?
Fine. First and foremost, the reason I was late to this thing was because I was busy bawling my eyes out. Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, because of that anime?
Yeah.
Damn. I respect that, honestly.
Sad shit. Secondly, this may have just been me, like, fast forwarding through the ending since like once free shipping got stranded on the wall, I was like, yeah, it's kind of fucked. So I didn't notice if uppercut was crab walking or not.
It was like driving in circles. It definitely didn't have drive on the one side.
But I mean, this is kind of wanted more than what we got here. This is kind of just like slightly worse uppercut versus saw blaze fight in my opinion, because like you'd expect this to be like I guess not a. I probably didn't think this fight would like go to the judges, but you'd think it would last like a minute or something. But it was still a pretty destructive performance by uppercut.
Yeah, it was a good start by free shipping as they were holding off uppercut with that low to the ground with those low to the ground wedgelets. But then when uppercut finally got underneath free shipping, after I think they tipped over and hit the wedgelets awkwardly a little bit, then it was pretty much all over for free shipping from there. And yeah, we saw the entire wedgelets get ripped off. Before that, the fuel tank exploded, as I mentioned, and free shipping eventually got flipped as they lost a wheel and got stuck on the rails. However, I think this might be a camera angle thing, but while I did notice that Corey's case is right, the uppercut was crab walking at the end, it wasn't exactly noticeable until probably about partway through the countdown, but I think that's mostly like the camera angle on Battlebots. They probably were crab walking longer. So, which is why I kind of supported free shipping getting counted out first, but you could definitely make the argument. And
Yeah, it would have. It literally would have just like it would have meant that it was a judge's decision victory over a KO victory, because if it was a double knockout, uppercut still would have won decision for sure.
oh yeah. Yeah, and then in terms of top 32 status, I think uppercut's a lock as they've gotten two destructive victories so far against two mid to high tier opponents. And free shipping, it's kind of in the middle for me right now because like if they get like another high quality opponent and win that fight in good fashion, I think you could definitely put free shipping in the top 32. But I think if they get a low tiered opponent or win in poor fashion, I don't think they're gonna accept free shipping to the top 32.
Yeah, it has to be despite
the fact that like the first fight with Blacksmith was close, and they put up a good fight here in this one against Uppercut. So, agree or disagree, both of you?
I agree. It needs a good win, but if it gets a good win next round, I feel like it might be able to get a low seed in the bracket.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of in the middle on that because I mean, free shipping in fairness, it should have won the Blacksmith fight. I'm one of those guys who thinks.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. It's a good loss. Like it was a close fight. It wasn't like, free shipping getting the floor swept with it.
Yeah, but I do think that if free shipping does get a quality win, it could make it into the bracket. But as of right now, I'm not that confident on it making bracket.
Yeah, it just depends.
Even if it does, it has to get like a really good win.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a challenging task, but Gary Jin definitely has the driving ability to do it. I don't think we know either of these two's third fight yet. I don't think it's publicly known.
It's not public, no.
So we'll find out eventually. And
you know who would have beaten Uppercut though? You already know what it is.
All right.
Who is it, Poirier? Who the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? What is he talking about?
What am I touching?
Yeah, deadlift would fucking destroy Uppercut.
Yes, based.
I'd kind of be 50-50 on that one and stuff. But
deadlift's less speedy, which would give it an advantage because it wouldn't whiff on shit.
I mean, deadlift and uppercut actually would make sense because they both kind of have like the muscular motif going for them.
In a way,
About
yeah.
Tantrum versus Uppercut, though. Come on, man.
Alright, moving on to the next fight. Alright, so now next battle here. And Shatter and Blacksmith, battle of, we'll just say battle of the hammers and stuff, even though Blacksmith is technically an overhead spinner. We got to see the
You don't
debut,
believe in overhead spinners here.
and then we got to see the debut of Shatter's new weapon, the Mary Special, and yeah, pretty much a long axe with a bunch of spikes on it in case if their hammerhead gets ripped off and they can still do some damage with the spikes on the arm, and it worked pretty well. Shatter's strategy coming to this one after watching that vid of theirs for the pre-fight was to try to get one of those exposed weapon belts on Blacksmith's power hammer and disable their weapon that way. And the strategy worked brilliantly for them, and so on. So, yeah, let's go ahead and hear it to you two. What do you two got in this battle?
Do you want to go, or am I
You
going?
can go ahead. I went first last.
Okay. Well, I got 2 words for you, baby. Very special!
Fair enough.
Very special is one of the most glorious things that Battlebots has ever graced the earth with. We got a giant ass sword on our hands now, so that's very kawaii. And Blacksmith, who's a hammer saw, also very kawaii. So yeah, it was huge fight there. And yeah, man, I was honestly shocked that Blacksmith put up a fight that it did, because that was honestly some decent driving by Al in that fight. I thought it would just get bodied.
Yeah, they both definitely showcased some very good driving, and that anime sword is great. Like, I wasn't sure if it would actually succeed in sniping, because apparently that thing was designed with the intention of sniping vert belts, and apparently it works like a charm, and it's great, and it looks cool. It looks like anime sword. Yeah, it's got a sick name. It's got an anime sword. I would love to own the Mary Special. They should sell it to me. Put it right next to this, you know. And
maybe they'd sell it to me instead.
Green, come on, man.
I'm buying it. Y'all have parts, I know, and I get it.
You can buy it. You get first dibs. But if you don't buy it, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
I have a Shatter scarf. I just don't have it. It's just I think it's in a box somewhere because I'm still.
Well, mine was technically in a box too. It's just a box that's right next to me. So.
Yeah, mine's in like the box of like BattleBots goodies, but I do have a scarf and it's very cool.
My box right down here is a box of BattleBots goodies too. It's got all my poker chips, all my stickers, and all the other stuff in it. But you still at your fair point, though, Tori.
Yeah, I mean, look at all this crap I gotta deal with. I'm still organizing.
So this is a legendary moment. Pori doesn't have his axolotl beanie on.
Ooh, that's true too. Whatever though. But yeah, in terms of my opinions on this, great fight by Shatter here. However, though, I'm not sure actually if it really was the Mary Special that actually got the belt, because the belt actually came off on that one successful power hammer strike that hit actually the other side of a Mary Special blade, and which I think was what caused the belt to come off. But either way, it still worked very well. My one concern, though, is, which was my exact concern that I mentioned when I was introducing the competitive field in my first podcast of this season. That hammer, it worked well for getting the weapon belt, but damage-wise, it really did not do that much damage that I noticed of, because Blacksmith's top looked almost completely damage-free, at least from my perspective and my point of view in there. It didn't seem to do as much as the regular hammer did, but that still didn't stop Shatter from winning this fight, because I think they did win the judges' decision between the two. But you got to give Blacksmith a lot of props there, because they did put up a massive fight during the push battle and got some excellent control moments in there despite not having their weapon. And the fire is always cool too, and such. So, all right.
Blacksmith is pretty tanky though.
Yeah,
so
that's the other thing, because it's also possible that the hammer didn't do that much damage, mostly because Blacksmith's armor is that good, because it is.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
that's kind of what I think. But I want to see another fight from it before I kind of like confirm that assumption that I just made. So
Yeah. Well, he said despite the new weapon, it is still armored very well. It's just armored
yeah,
very well strategically. But you know who
yeah.
would beat Shatter?
I don't know about
Agreed. I
I don't
agree.
know about that one. I
I
think
agree.
Shatter would win against
Look,
Deadlift.
just
Honestly
trust me
agree.
on
I
this.
honestly
Trust
agree,
Adam
Corey. I
Wrigley,
agree.
man.
Yeah, no, Adam
Yeah,
Wrigley's a great guy, but like Deadlift is they're back, man.
Honestly, I've kind of put up with Pori's shit so much this week that I've gotten PTSD.
but yeah. In
You're just
terms of the
playing
judge's
base.
decision, what do you guys think of it?
It was great.
Beta should have lost.
But yeah, in terms
True.
of how I scored the fight, damage, I actually scored that one 3-2 for Shatter and stuff. The reason why, because like there wasn't a lot of damage that was noticeable in this one, because I gave Shatter more points because of that belt snipe, but a lot of Shatter's crap, what do you even call that stuff? That's lots of the shiny cosmetic bits around the chain guards that Shatter put on for this fight. Some of it popped off during the match, and that does account for the judging criteria, even though it's not as much. Then in terms of aggression, and I get yeah, control. I gave Blacksmith the edge on that one, 2-1. Aggression, I went 2-1 for Shatter and stuff because of how much they were still able to continue pulverizing with their hammer and so on. And yeah, what about the top 32? What do you two think about these ones?
Shatter is definitely a lock. 100%. I mean, it's got 2 wins. I think 2 wins pretty much means lock. And they're good wins. Blacksmith, as long as they should be in, as long as their next fight isn't a total disaster for them. Like they either gotta win their next fight or like get a really good loss in their next fight in
Yeah,
order
which
to
it's
get in. I
revealed that
think.
that's Malice they're up against, and that's publicly known.
I think Blacksmith will probably should be able to beat Malice in theory. I mean,
Yeah,
we'll see because Malice is no slouch for sure. But it just depends how that fight goes. As long as the fight isn't a disaster for Blacksmith, I think they'll probably get in.
Yeah, I agree with Pori that I think Shatter's in because Shatter's faced two mid to high tier opponents so far in Sub Zero and Blacksmith and gotten some pretty good quality victories there. I'm not sure who Shatter's fighting third in this one, but I imagine it's probably going to be a tough one and stuff. They're probably going to get a high tiered opponent. They'll determine seeding for them. In terms of Blacksmith, like, we know they're fighting Malice, as I've said before. And I personally think Blacksmith is going to need to win that one in order to get in. Like, this was a reasonable one. I think, well, I'm kind of 50-50 on it and stuff. Like, I think if they win against Malice, I think they're in, no doubt about that, because like they got a reasonable win over free shipping, and this was a good loss in my opinion with how well Blacksmith was able to put up a fight even without their power hammer. If they lose, I'd say if it was a good loss, I'd say they're still in contention for a top 32 spot. But if they get wrecked by Malice, which I think is unlikely because Blacksmith is still a tank, as we've seen in the past,
money.
I don't think they'd make it in. You got any opinions, civilian?
Yeah, as you guys said, Shatter is definitely a lock. Uh, Sir Blacksmith, it honestly depends on how the field is looking, because like we're kind of at the stage of the game right now where there's not a ton of one-on-ones out there, and so I wouldn't say it's necessarily make or break for them. Regardless, I would say they need at least a good loss, but maybe there's a bunch of shitty 1-2s out there this season. Who knows?
I don't know, but we'll find out when we see those two fight. And yeah, we'll go ahead and go on to the fight number 3. Yeah, we got P1 and Jaeger, the debut of the clusterbot Jaeger. Well, they came in with 3 robots this time, and rather than too, like what we've been hearing about. But yeah, gotta give Jaeger so much credit coming into this season. Just the fact that like only their team captain was able to make it due to travel restrictions, and they got help from the Battlebots community, like Emmanuel Carrillo. Even though I didn't really see him like
He was there.
oh yeah, he was there. I know that for certain and stuff because I believe he was there when they made their entrance. But yeah, he helped them out and drove one of the two robots. I think he drove the overhead spinner.
That's what I
Or
think. Yeah.
because yeah, and I think their team captain drove the undercutter for it, and then then somebody else drove the wedge mini bot, which I brought me spicy meatball vibes since he was spicy meatball was part of Big Dill. But what do you two got in this battle?
Wow. P1 is looking very clean. But Jaeger had a good moment in the beginning. Like when the small mini bot got underneath P1, they could have capitalized. And they did a little bit. You know, the overhead did get a hit in, and the undercutter tried to get a hit in, but then just like killed the mini bot. But they at least seem to be driven competently. That the undercutter does look like it does damage. I believe I heard that it did take out a chain on one of P1's wheels, which is why P1 was kind of like driving like a little wobbly at the end of the fight. But all in all, it was just a very impressive showing on P1 again. And from what I've heard from the inside sources, this was actually P1's first fight. Supposedly, this fight happened before the Valkyrie fight, and they just like aired it out of order for some reason.
I heard that P1 and Jaeger and Valkyrie and Triple Crown happened first, and those were their first fights, and then Valkyrie and P1 fought for their second fight. I think is what I heard about
That's
it.
what I heard. Yeah.
That's kind of a bro moment though, because they're making us think Valkyrie's getting these fucking gimme fights now that it's 0-1.
Yeah.
That's probably why they did it, honestly. I don't know why they gave. Well, we'll get to that fight. We'll talk about that. But, yeah, but P1 Jaeger at least kind of makes sense on paper because while I do think it is kind of a mismatch, BattleBots doesn't take P1 seriously, so it makes sense that they'd give him a multi-bot.
Yeah, if this is the first P1 fight, this does make sense.
Yeah. Plus, I feel like it's also a good idea for a control bot to get a mini bot because a multi bot because like no way it's not just like a 30-second fight like Uppercut versus Gemini where they're just obliterating them and then that's
Or
it.
Bloodsport and Four Horsemen.
Yeah, like it's just like this one was more fun than what that would have been.
Yeah, I think Jaeger was a little bit relieved they didn't get a big spinner to start.
Yeah.
What do you got, Sev?
I mean, this was kind of just like a fun P1 fight, definitely keeps giving me Stinger vibes more and more, which is, very poggers. And gotta love the Jaegers, because that's a cool anime team from Akame ga Kill. But Jaeger also has shown some potential, and yeah.
I think Jaeger could theoretically be like the multi-bot. Well, we'll have to see what it does in the future.
I wouldn't say the multi-bot because I don't think anyone can beat Thunder and Lightning, and now Mantine's here.
Thunder and Lightning Thunder and Lightning didn't enter BattleBots though.
I didn't hear what Mantine said and then left.
I don't think he said anything.
He said something.
I'd say like Thunder and Lightning is like the like if you wanted to tell me what the best multi-bot team out there is, it would probably be Thunder and Lightning.
Thunder and Lightning only really got in by schedule though. Like they're only successful by making the semifinals, but they did kind of have a Ghost Raptor schedule where like they just kind of got like either really easy opponents or really lucky wins. Like it wasn't really like the second they fought like Spectre or Megabyte, they got like their ass handed to. Not that it's a bad robot, but I feel Jaeger could definitely be the premier multi-bot.
I'd also say Crash and Burn is also up there.
But yeah,
Cronenberg, yeah.
in terms of the cluster bots that have competed at Battlebots, I think Jaeger is the most impressive so far, in my opinion. But I want to see another fight from Jaeger before I officially make that determination. And I don't think we know any other Jaeger fights, at least at the moment.
Not a public one. I know one, but I don't know a public one.
Yeah, I think I know one as well, but I'm not 100% certain and on it because that's a rumor
That
that I
one.
heard of.
It's a
And
secret.
yeah, it's a little bit of a
Yeah.
secret, but great
Yeah.
stuff from P1, 2-0 start, and hopefully they don't get snubbed out of a top 32 spot. But I think because of that quality victory they got over Valkyrie, I would probably consider them a lock. And
Yeah, they're in it.
And yeah, Jaeger did have some impressive moments here. I kind of wonder if the fight outcome would have changed if the undercutter didn't wreck the little wedge mini bot there, which disabled half of its drive. But it was great to see all the multi-bots get into action. It looked like there were some marks in P1's wedge after that one, and some of the side marks. I think that came from the undercutter, but it's great to see all this in action. So, yeah. Anything else in this fight, or should we get to the next one?
You know who could beat P1?
I couldn't get out of here. Leave now.
I think I'd agree with that one. I think Deadlift can beat P1.
Ace.
Fuck.
Based. But yeah, I do think that Jaeger has a shot to bounce back. We'll see who they fight, and they could be the premier multi-bot. We'll see.
Definitely. Depends on who they draw. Yeah, time to get to the next one, I think. Alright, and too bad Oblivion Prime's not here to rant a little bit about this one. I'm not sure if he would rant. I'm not sure if he'd want to rant about this one.
He'd rant. We
know he would.
He'd rant.
Shout out to Oblivion Prime. But next up, we got Hydra and Gruff here, and battle of Flipper first, Lifter with a devastating flamethrower to it. And yeah, this fight went to plan for Hydra, but it clearly was not at 100% in this one, as it wasn't launching Gruff as high as they were launching several of the robots they flipped last year, as well as Endgame in their first fight. So something was clearly wrong, but they got the job done and got the knockout. So, yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on this one?
I guess I'll go first since Pori's not saying anything. Yeah, as Green said, was kind of an underwhelming Hydra fight, which is kind of surprising since Hydra usually, I wouldn't say always has banger fights, but it usually at least has some like great moments in its fights usually. Like one of my favorite moments in 2019 of all time was Hydra Hypershock just Udaing itself by just driving over Hydra. So that was fun. But yeah, Hydra definitely looked very underwhelming this fight, and Gruff didn't look that great either, but like I feel like this is kind of just fine for Hydra right now. I mean, like as long as it's not like fighting like a vert or something in this like quality of Hydra right now, I think it should be fine. I know it's not gonna. I think we know its who its third fight is, unless that's
we know the third fight for both of these robots, assuming neither of them are bounty fights, though.
And they're both birds.
Yeah, that's an L.
Yeah.
Hydra took a big L. Yeah, but
with Hydra it's Glitch and Gruff it's Cobalt, so a little bit of a difference there.
Big ass difference.
Just a little difference.
Bro, shout out to Glitch who fucking struggled against Ghost Raptor.
What do you got?
They got a shot, though. Yeah, so this fight definitely was underwhelming. Hydra has a lot of things to work out, I feel. I mean, it worked. It functioned, but it wasn't doing like the nice flips it's known for, which is kind of disappointing.
Jake did explain why his flipper was having problems. Like, Apparently,
fine. Hopefully, you fixed it.
according to Jake on the Uda server, he apparently didn't take enough. He didn't take his Viagra before
Oh yeah, that's true. He
Yup.
didn't take his
going in.
Viagra, but one thing it should definitely be acknowledged is that Hydra did get a gimme fight in this. I feel like Gruff was not beat unless Hydra like just randomly died. Gruff was not going to win this
Although,
fight.
I just realized this is a rematch that happened in BattleBots Annihilation.
You predicted
Oh, yeah.
this fight happening. That's why they
And
did
this
it.
also happened in the first Fantasy Robot League and was my first fight where I got points from it.
This is yeah, it's a free win for Hydra for sure, but at least they got an Uda. That's always good. I don't know. Hydra's definitely got to fix their issues if they want to win the next fight. I feel because while Glitch definitely had a very underwhelming first performance, that weapon does look like it hits pretty good, and if that thing hits Hydra, I think it's very well game over. We'll see though. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it in a few episodes probably. But yeah. So what do you guys think about the Uda and the rules? The rules being broken. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna ask about that one, but yeah,
Too.
I think it's kind of BS. Like, I think this is all on
Yeah.
BattleBots as for what happened. Because, like, we know BattleBots sealed off several of, like, the sides UDA zones, but a few of the corners, they didn't seal off those. Like, if they're not going to seal those off, there's nothing wrong with, like, Gruff using that to their, or Hydra using that to their advantage, where they toss Gruff out. And if, like, I personally, like, there was talk where some people thought Hydra should have been DQ'd for it just because it's technically against the rules, apparently, but that's all
Stupid.
BattleBots' fault, 100%. Like, there's a difference between, like, when the Wyachis have taken advantage of holes in the rule books in the past. Like, I was talking with Plory about how Son of Waiachi used a lot of the weight benefit rules in the Comedy Central era in order to win in the heavyweight class for BattleBots in the third season of it. But this is completely different, where they took advantage of a hole, and they technically took advantage of a hole in the rule book that I think was all on BattleBots. So yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think
it's
BattleBots should have been I don't think Hydra should have been DQ'd. And I think that was perfectly legit, and I think that's kind of stupid.
no, yeah, I agree. It's a dumb rule because of how inconsistent it is. Because basically the rule is like, oh, if a vert accidentally hits a robot into the corner there like that, then it's okay. But if a flipper deliberately does it, it's a disqualification. Like, who's to say that the vert doesn't intentionally do it? You know, like it's a very inconsistent thing. And from what I heard that same exact session before the Hydra fight, a vert did get an Uda accidentally. I don't know who. We don't need to know who until it happens. But it supposedly happened that same session. So, like, I think that's what might have triggered Jake to be like, I'm going to test the waters with this. Because I think Jake realized, wait, Hydra is like one of the cash cows of BattleBots. They aren't going to disqualify this. However, if, let's say, theoretically Sub-Zero or someone, like, gets an Uda later in the season, gets disqualified, I think that'll be nonsense. But I do feel that, like, people would call that out if it does happen. Hopefully it doesn't.
Maybe that Uda in the
We'll see.
previous session was Rusty Uda-ing Robot.
Yeah.
Oh, what was a vert doing the Udaing? So it was the robot getting the Uda.
Well, you know who?
Rusty is a vertical hammer, so.
Well, Green, you know. Well, Green, you know who could beat Ribot?
Black Dragon, obviously. Same thing with Minotaur. Jackpot as well.
What could beat Ribot is standing right behind Pori.
That's true.
I
think I'd probably pick Ribot, though, in all honesty.
Yeah, Ribot would beat that. But you know who could beat Hydra?
No.
Every day. All day, every day.
Actually, it depends, to be honest.
Depends if Hydra just stops working.
In terms of my analysis of this one, Gruff had a good start to this one, honestly, because, like, it looks like Gruff's strategy was to avoid the flipper of Hydra, and he got a few near lifts in, but the Forks just had a hard time just getting underneath Hydra, even from the sides and so on, just showing like how low Hydra is to the ground. But looked like there was probably a leak in one of the fuel tanks on Gruff because one of their flamethrower pods was on fire. And you could tell it was not them using the flamethrower at times during that, and that's my guess for what was going on there, but I haven't seen a damage report from either of these two robots. But I do think Jake was a little harsh when he gave his robot an F performance in this one, because it didn't burn out like what it did in the endgame fight, and while the flipper power was definitely off compared to what we've seen in the past, it still did a reasonable job and kept getting Gruff up in the air and stuff. But so now in terms of top 32 wise, I think both of these robots will not make the top 32 if they lose their next fight, because like, if Hydra loses to Glitch, who is having some drive issues in the last one, I don't think they're going to accept Hydra into the top. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'd say like I probably wouldn't accept Hydra into the top 32. I think Battlebots probably would for popularity reasons. But and then in terms of Gruff, I don't think they I could see them accepting Gruff for popularity reasons once again, but I don't think if they win against Cobalt, I don't think they'd accept Gruff either with just a win over Switchback.
Popular,
but well, they accepted Gruff last season for popularity reasons, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Gruff did become a fan favorite after the potentially controversial decision against Tombstone, even though I agreed with that. But
yeah,
Gruff lost to Extinguisher. It definitely was accepted for popularity reasons.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah, I'd say Captain Shrederator is more popular than Gruff, though.
Oh, a lot of people really like Gruff because of the flamethrowers, I
that
think.
too.
People like bots because they throw fire out.
I feel like Captain Shrederator has a fan base for sure, but like, I feel like a lot of the BattleBots fan base sees Captain Shrederator as a joke. That's why no one predicted them to beat Tombstone, except me. You know.
Well, Spin did as well.
Spin, shout out to Spin. We're base, but Gruff is a robot that people look back on the Gruff Tombstone fight and are like, "Ooh, Gruff should have won that." Like there hasn't really been any moments with Shrederator like that.
Whatever. Yeah, in terms of top 32ness, we know Hydra and Gruff's last fight, and Hydra has Glitch, Gruff has Cobalt. I'm predicting Hydra to beat Glitch, and I know some fucking Redditors are gonna come at me saying that there's a fight pick that spoils the not spoils, but I guess shows a possible outcome. And I just want to say, if you're basing your prediction off of a fight pick, I have zero respect for you.
Miles.
I mean, there's people who are doing it the other way around. They're basing it off of a clip of Hydra flipping Glitch. I'm probably gonna bet on Glitch just because I like betting on the underdog. But that fight could really go either way. But Gruff's not beating Cobalt unless Cobalt stops working. Let's be real here.
Yeah, Gruff ain't beating Cobalt. This ain't RA2.
Yeah, I think Gruff's only shot of winning against Cobalt is if they flip Cobalt, which is probably not going to be an easy task, or if Cobalt gets stuck on the floor or breaks itself.
But you know who could beat Gruff? Who could beat Cobalt? Tantrum.
No. Oh yeah, probably.
I think both Deadlift and Tantrum would beat Cobalt probably, but who knows?
Based.
All right, I think next fight. All right, here we go. So then next up, we have Gigabyte and Captain Shrederator. One of 3 fights I've been hoping to see this season that we've gotten. There's 3 fights of the 20 that I was originally going to do a podcast on, but never got to it. Of 20 fights I wanted to see. This was one of them, but sadly, out of the 3 of those 20 fights that we've gotten so far, only one of them has gone well. Which the 3 fights I've been hyped for, that I was hoping we'd get, were Minotaur and Sawblaze. That's the one. Hydra and Endgame and Gigabyte and Captain Shrederator were two fights that I was hoping we'd get, but did not live up to the hype that I was going for. But yeah, because this one I was really hoping to see, because like we got two cone-shaped spinners here, brings me Beyblade vibes and stuff, and yeah, this fight was just too short for me and stuff. Like it was a reasonable performance from both robots, but it was disappointing that we saw Captain Shrederator die to itself once again, and so on. But yeah, let's go ahead and leave the floor to you two here.
Okay. First of all, I agree with Green 100%. This is a lame-ass fight. Probably the worst of the episode, besides, like, well, I guess the bonus fight, but I don't really count that as a part of the episode. So, I'd say this is probably the worst fight of the... No, Duck vs. Dragon Slayer is probably worse now that I think about it. Yeah, this is definitely a close second. Thing that frustrated me the most about this fight is that this kind of went the exact way I saw happening. I actually saw Captain Shrederator winning most of the exchanges, but then just killed a Captain Shrederator. So, yeah, thanks, Captain Shrederator, for correcting my expectations.
It was a very underwhelming fight. There really isn't much to say about it. I mean, there were a few okay hits there, but it could have been a lot more. And it's a shame because if Captain Shrederator would have not died, they could have very well won this because I feel they were getting the better of the exchanges that were taking place.
Yeah, I kind of agree that this was extremely underwhelming, as I've said already. Because, like what Pori said, like there were really 4 hits in this one that I noticed of. The first and the third one, Captain Shredder popped Gigabyte up into the air, like showing they were like lower to the ground, and that horizontal spinner configuration they came out with this time, like it was working well to perfection. But then Brian Nabe said in his interview that their radio died, and so they weren't having a signal, and they just lost power entirely, which appears to be what happened and stuff. But yeah, and even John Maladnik didn't seem to be happy about this one. Like it seemed like he was trying to hide it and stuff, but you could kind of tell that there was a little disappointment there, unfortunately. Mostly because like when they beat Minotaur, like he was so excited, all the excitement, and during his interview compared to this one, it kind of seemed a little down. But
He wants to put on a show.
yeah, yes, like that's the other thing. Like it was like my guess is it was probably because he wanted the fight to last a bit longer, and Captain Shredder kind of died to itself rather than to Gigabyte there, which is really an unfortunate circumstance, but. Yeah, a win's a win though, and Gigabyte is 1-1. Captain Shrederator is also 1-1. In terms of the top 32, like I personally think Gigabyte's kind of in the same boat as Hydra and Gruff, where I think they probably need to win their next fight. Impressively, yeah. I don't think. Yeah, we know they're going to fight Tantrum, but apparently there have been rumors that that's not a fight night battle.
But I don't think it is, but I mean. I don't know.
Do we have any other Gigabyte Tantrum fights that we know of?
Just
like public.
There's one rumored Gigabyte fight I've heard of, and then Tantrum I don't know. I don't think I've heard.
I mean, as long as Tantrum gets a main event, I'm A-okay.
Yeah, I feel like Tantrum I personally think is probably going to get a 2-0 robot, like maybe Jackpot or Shatter. Or
Whiplash.
Where's some of the other 2-0s?
Whiplash if it wins its second fight. Yeah,
I could see that one too, but I don't know. Yeah, and then in terms of Captain Shrederator, I think they're probably in a better spot than Gigabyte just because of that first victory right now, even though that was a disappointment. You guys are welcome to disagree if you'd like, but I personally think Captain Shrederator needs a good loss. I think if they get a good loss, I think they'll still be in contention. But I also could see them not making the top 32 if that happens, just because
Yeah.
Battlebots sometimes chooses popularity over quality of victories and losses and stuff. But I don't know what to expect and stuff. We'll have to see whoever these two are fighting next and stuff and find out. Anything else on this one, or should we get to the next one? Alright, next fight it is. Yeah, this one, which we know Civilian Arc's got some. We got Civilian Arc's got some excitement coming, at least in this one. Got Dragon Slayer and Duck, and yeah, this one was also kind of a disappointment too. But it was a good showing from Dragon Slayer. Like this was their first fight ever, supposedly, and like it performed pretty well in my opinion. Like that vertical spinner did quite a bit of damage to Duck's front and stuff, and I'm kind of wondering if this one is a little bit similar to like the Valkyrie P1 Jaeger and Triple Crown and stuff, where I'm kind of wondering if this fight happens earlier or something like that, because Dragon Slayer fights in the next episode again, at least according to the episode image, because we could see test box. We got Daniel Freitas on one side and Dragon Slayer team member on the other side, and we're gonna hope that's free points for me in King of Draft. After I have Minotaur on my team, but
I thought you hated
it's not. What, me? No,
Yeah,
this is for a skit. This is for a skit when you guys let me talk.
Okay.
All right, I'll let you do that at the end of this before we get to the YouTube fight civilian, and I'll give you that moment. But well, because I want to discuss the fight first, Mister.
Yeah, let's discuss the fight.
Yeah,
Wait, I have one more thing I need to mention.
Do your thing. All right, go ahead.
One thing I need to mention. You know who would beat Gigabyte? Forgot to mention that last fight.
That's kind of 50-50 right now with me. Eli. That one could go either way, in my opinion.
Okay, sorry, Green. Continue.
Well, I was going to leave the floor to you two on this fight. Discuss this fight.
Okay, so I want to like Duck. I like the old ones. The older Ducks are a lot of fun. They were fun robots, but this new one just isn't it. There's too many design flaws to Duck.
Saying it, Chief.
What?
Saying it, Chief.
Yeah, this ain't it, Chief. Because honestly, Dragon Slayer is an ambitious design, and I think with some tweaking, it could definitely be a contender. But like that spinner does not spin fast. Like that was a pretty slow spinner, and it was still kicking Duck's ass. Like I feel like Dragon Slayer, if it like had a spinner like that was as fast as like I don't know, uppercut or something, it could be a serious contender. But they do definitely need some work. But Duck is just very rough, and I don't see Duck winning a fight this season, honestly, and that's a shame. You know, I mean, you never want to see a robot go winless. But Dragon Slayer, I'm not entirely sold on either. It's a cool robot, but if it beats Minotaur, then I'll be utterly shocked.
It'd be a bro moment if that ever happened.
Yeah.
Although I'd probably not let Green hear the end of it if it happened.
Oh yeah, me too. But like, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What did you got in this fight, Civilian?
Yeah, well, here's the thing, y'all, and I've been telling y'all this. I've been telling y'all this for ages now. Ever since, like, December whatever the fuck in 2020, I've been telling y'all Duck is a piece of shit. And this fight proved it. Duck is not a competitively viable robot whatsoever. Rusty could beat it. And Duck was this was just a terrible fight in all execution of it. Dragons, both bots were not impressive whatsoever. Dragon Slayer It was a bit impressive seeing it like fucking just take part of the beak off, but I don't know what that beak is made out of. I first thought it was like plastic or some shit. I didn't think that was the case because of what it surviving Witch Doctor shot. So who knows about Dragon Slayer up until this point? So yeah.
Yeah, Dragon Slayer is still a little bit of a mystery to me because, like what Porty said, that weapon did not seem to be spinning up that fast compared to other vertical spinners. And I think Porty, I think this is the robot that was in the triple digits for amount they spent on this thing too.
Yeah, supposedly before like electronics and stuff, it was triple
Oh,
digit. Although
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that it was just like because they built a heavyweight before this that got rejected like last season, and it was like fairly similar. It had the same like style, only it was like a little bit different. So they probably
I think
used
I
a
know
lot
the
of that.
robot you're talking about. I don't recall the name of it.
Called
But
Piranha. But Piranha like is a fairly similar design, so they probably reworked a lot of the stuff from Piranha into this one. So that definitely because like you look at like Jackpot, they say they hype up being a $4,000 robot, but like they got their own workshop and they got like resources and stuff. So
yeah.
like yeah, I mean I'm actually surprised they didn't use that to hype up Dragon Slayer in this, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, but yeah, this was a disappointment from Duck and stuff. Like, I hope all the gremlin, because clearly lots of the motor and speed controller gremlins are still there from the Witch Doctor fight. What was fun was we did get to see it quack, though. Oh, at least right before the fight
That annoyed the
began.
shit out of me.
And yeah, that's kind of awesome. I can't wait for the new RA2 mod to come out where Charlie supposedly made the new Duck version quack, which
I'm gonna literally throw Duck out of the pack once it gets released. Like I'm literally just gonna erase it from my files.
well,
I
wait
don't
till
want
we
to
get to
hear
War
that shit.
Machines on that mod and Fantasy Robot League on that mod, where Duck is still
Y'all
a
are just gonna
possibility.
choose Duck to annoy the fuck out of me.
That's
Yeah.
not the reason why I'd choose it, but you get the idea. But yeah, in terms of the judge's decision, I think Dragon Slayer won this one by like a landslide. Right, and
Easily.
just because Duck just did not perform well in this one, which I hope they get all the gremlins and stuff figured out. Because like, I wouldn't say Duck is the worst robot in the competitive field so far, but like that's the one thing I think Pori has said and about this fight that I disagree with, but who knows? Some stuff like
I honestly, I really feel bad saying that, but I really don't see any robot in this current field that Duck could beat, in my opinion.
yeah. I think
Double Jeopardy.
Rusty and Jaeger are the two that that come to mind that I think Duck could beat.
I think both of them would beat Duck, and I think Double Jeopardy would too. As long as Double Jeopardy has at least some push power.
Well, Double Jeopardy does. It's got the biggest drivetrain in the field and stuff.
Then yeah, Double Jeopardy would definitely win that. And Rusty has pretty good drive and is fairly powerful. Jaeger has decent weapons. I mean, that undercutter alone could probably beat up on Duck.
Yeah, but yeah. And then top 32 status, I think with that loss, I don't think Duck is gonna make it in. I think even if they win against like the defending champ in the next one,
next round.
I don't think they're gonna make it in. Unfortunately, I want to see Duck do well. Like I hope we get to see more fights from Duck and see a better performing version of it. But I kind of don't think it's gonna happen.
Well, they're retiring Duck. Actually,
yes, that's the other thing because Hal Rucker did announce recently that they are retiring Duck after this season, which is too bad. Which Civilian Art's doing a victory dance because we know he hates Duck.
He's doing a Fortnite dance.
Yeah. Well, he also simps for Duck too.
He does. He loves to simp for Duck.
Well, I'm actually excited for that because
you don't think I like bestiality or some shit? What the fuck?
What? I actually am excited for that though, not because of any offense towards Duck, but like the fact that Hal Rucker could make something like actually cool. Like not that I like the old Duck for sure, but like Hal Rucker is capable of making something like that's like really complex, like a Triple Crown sort of bot. Like I mean, he made Ringmaster.
which he hinted in that same post that they're working on something that hasn't been brought to BattleBots yet. Which,
And I'm all for. I've heard rumors. This is the rumor mill, so it's probably wrong. I heard grumblings that apparently he might be working on a walker.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's true. I hope it's true because that'd be really cool. And I feel like he'd be the kind of guy to show up with a 500-pound walker. So we'll have to see.
That doesn't have a weapon.
Yeah, and then in terms of Dragon Slayer with top 32 status, this was a reasonable win, but I think they're going to need to go 2-1 or 3-0. Well, they're going to need to go at least 2-1 in order to win in order to make it there, because this one isn't exactly a showcase enough victory for me. And
I agree.
But if they can beat Minotaur, I think they're in, no doubt about that. Yeah. But
they won't, though.
I think the chances, I'm not going to say anything yet because I know if I give them a certain odd, they're going to beat Minotaur.
You're not going to beat Minotaur. You could probably stop that spinner with like your hand while it's spinning. Well, no, probably not. Don't do that. No,
you don't. I'm not.
But like the point is, Minotaur is, unless Minotaur has some serious gremlins, they're gonna wipe the floor with Dragon Slayer. But on that note, you know who could beat Dragon Slayer?
Yeah, Deadlids would wipe the floor with them, I think. But who knows? All right, Civ, the floor is yours.
Okay, so you see this Hexbug duck?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I now do.
Through it.
Bro, those cost money.
Yeah.
You send it to me. I don't have a duck yet.
This is the damage that was the damage done to it. I just literally. Oh wait, no, wait. Fuck. Oh, okay, gotcha.
The wheels are supposed to come off, dude.
Yeah.
No, I thought I ripped the front wheels off because of how it was, but I ripped the right back wheel axle off, the thing holding the right back wheel.
Damn.
Top panel is bent.
Damn, you could have sent that to one of us.
Personally, Pori, I probably wouldn't recommend the Duck Hexbug. Like, the Rotator Hexbug's awesome, but I'm not a fan of the Duck one. I wish Hal Rucker still had the thing up where he'd send the parts that would make Duck's lifters so much more powerful.
He probably would if you hit him up. But I mean, I don't really care. I probably would just like, have it on the shelf. I just want to own all the Hexbugs.
I probably wouldn't either because I don't use them enough just because I'm too busy at college. But
I can't go back after we got the Sawblaze Whiplash ones because those are so cool. Like, it's so much fun playing with both of those.
All right, I think moving on to the YouTube exclusive fight. All right, so now we got the YouTube exclusive fight where we got Valkyrie and the debut of Triple Crown, and like, I don't care how many people say that Triple Crown is a trash robot and stuff. Triple Crown is neat.
It's cool.
Yeah, like, it's super neat. Like, getting to see like that swerve drive on it, that was awesome to watch. I don't care what people say about that robot.
It drives. Okay, here's the thing: Triple Crown drives really smooth, and it does work. It's a work in progress. Like, I feel like it's a common misconception in BattleBots community where if a robot isn't like a super meta competitively viable machine, that it shouldn't be in there. But that's stupid. Sometimes BattleBots is as simple as showing up to the box with something like this and people being like ooh and ah, because Todd Mendenhall, the builder of Triple Crown, who by the way built the Panzer robot, which won Robotica and Robot Wars Extreme Warriors.
Yep.
He has a video series where he documents like every aspect of this machine. It's literally like 40 videos. It's a great watch. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
But he goes into every detail, but even in those videos, he's like, I realize that this thing is gonna suck in its debut season, but that's okay because I'm gonna use my experience of he's using the experience of Valkyrie beating the crap out of it as like a learning thing to figure out like, okay, I should do this different. I should do this different. And he's confident that if he keeps getting accepted in like 3 or 4 seasons, he thinks he'll have a top 16 sort of machine. Like that's always been his goal, and I think he just has to rework some stuff because Todd Mendenhall is a smart guy. Like he knows what he's doing, and he's built championship. He's built his robots probably have more championships than the majority of the BattleBots field overall. So he he makes good stuff. But that said, this was kind of a mismatch, and that's a shame because I feel like Triple Crown should have gotten like Jaeger or something for the first match because that's just brutal throwing at the Valkyrie right away.
Yeah.
Especially since this was Valkyrie's first fight. Like Valkyrie comes back after a top 16 run, and they're like, "Here you go. You're fighting this like really experimental rookie. Have fun."
Yep. But yeah, this fight was a little too short and stuff. But kind of like what Corey said, this was a mismatch in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like it's like they've been giving several newcomers top 32, top 16 robots so far.
Mm-hmm.
Because Switchback got Gruff as an opponent. Riptide drew Huge. P1 technically didn't make the top 32, but Jaeger got P1 for an opponent. Dragon Slayer with Duck, even though Duck wasn't in last season, and then Triple Crown with Valkyrie as well. So,
yeah.
The
only one that really made sense was Orby, because at least Orby competed somewhere else and proved that they can like be in that. I mean, still Scorpius is a terrible robot to give it like the Tombstone Killer, but.
Yeah, and then this fight was a one and you're done type situation. Valkyrie got one big hit, ran the wedge side of it, ripped off the wedge, and Triple Crown died after that. And that was it for them in this fight. But yeah, what do you got in this battle, Civilian?
Yeah, this fight wasn't very 55th Street. But I do have to shit on this a lot because this is probably going to be like the one time they did this. The only one time they've ever done this ever. They didn't give us a spoiler title this week. It was like in the bonus fight that everyone knew like what the outcome would be.
That is true.
This kind of
what a shame.
Like that pisses me off to an extreme extent because that proves that the title makers aren't complete fucking morons.
They still are.
Yeah.
They're not like Ribot levels of weird, but
shut up. You don't even know.
Why would they even consider not title spoilering this fight when they've title spoiled every single fight thus far?
Maybe they learned their lesson and too many people complained.
They might have, because people were critiquing it, so maybe they saw those critiques and they're like, Plus, I feel like this fight, like, they can't really hype it up. Like, what they say, Valkyrie gets 2 hits on this robot. Like, it makes more sense to be like, look at this really cool robot that's entering the box. Like, it's the appeal of this fight was never like, oh, watch Valkyrie win a fight. It was like, look at Triple Crown. Swerve Drive actually works. This thing's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'll probably do it for this fight unless if you two got anything else.
Yeah, so when this fight was revealed, Todd made a video that he revealed that like he didn't think that this fight would actually be aired, and he actually wasn't even gonna show up to BattleBots because his robot wasn't done, obviously, as you can see. But they were just like, "Nah, come anyway because you're a legend. We can vibe, and maybe we'll throw you in the box one time." It was heavily hinted that this might be Triple Crown's only fight. I think they might. I heard a rumor that they have a bounty. I have no.
Actually, I don't know if you saw the comment section for the video and the BattleBots Facebook group, but he actually had the same hints that you were just describing in a comment he put in there and stuff. Kind of brought me vibes that might have been their one and only fight.
Yeah, so maybe it's their only fight. Maybe they have a bounty. I hope they come back for a bounty. That'd be cool to see him. But I mean, it's a cool robot, and you know who could beat Valkyrie?
Oh.
No, I'd probably say Valkyrie.
Man, I don't want to hear it. We're going all the way.
But yeah, let's go ahead and get to the next fight then.
That's a base picture right there.
It's that one, which Civilian predicted wrong out of the three of us. So, what's your record right now in terms of you and Pori's anime bet now, Civilian?
We are at 3-1 in my favor because the one main event we agreed on with Whiplash versus Bloodsport.
Yeah.
But I'm not watching the third one Pori's making me watch until he watches the anime I've given him, because
That's fine. That's totally fine, especially considering I gave you an anime with 1,000 episodes.
fucking madman.
Yeah, this
I
fight.
know you only had to watch a little bit of it.
This fight went pretty much exactly how I was expecting it to go, and went the same way I predicted it was going to. And yeah, let's go ahead and bring thoughts out to you two here.
Yeah, so like you said, it's pretty much what I expect this fight to be. I mean, Witch Doctor having a good moment or two, and then Endgame just like beating the crap out of Witch Doctor. I mean, it was a great performance, and it was a good comeback for Endgame for sure. Because while they did definitely beat Hydra decisively, they had some issues in that fight, and it was a good enough win, but it wasn't like this was a great win. This is what they definitely needed.
Yeah, God fucking damn it, Witch Doctor! You're gonna make me watch a fucking detective anime now. You
Bro,
fucking dick.
listen, Case Closed is an amazing anime, straight up. Like that's like the anime.
Disagree.
You
Whatever.
disagree? You haven't even watched it yet.
Doubt it's better than Toradora or Angel Beats. So
Look, I don't want to hear it. You listen. It's a good anime. It's a classic. I used to go to my buddy's house. He'd rent DVDs from Netflix that had like 3 episodes on it, and we just hang out and watch it. It was good times.
Yeah, but this is my opinion, and this is kind of a hot take, but we have seen what? This is Endgame's like 5th main event or some shit. This has been Endgame does not have a single good main event to its name yet.
This was a
What?
good
This
fight.
was an
What are you
awesome
talking
main
about?
event. What are you talking about?
He's just mad that he didn't get it right.
So fucking C tier, it's not even funny. I'm gonna keep it 55th Street.
It's not a C tier at all. What are you talking about?
Endgame Bite Force, terrible fight. Endgame Tombstone, mediocre fight. Endgame Bloodsport, mediocre fight. Endgame Hydra, please fucking end my life right now.
Yeah, this one was good though.
Oh, it was not.
Green, was this a good fight?
I love this fight. I thought this was a good one.
This was the second
it's the best
worst
main event this season.
I'd say it's in the middle because I personally like the first two the least. Then I'd probably throw this one in there next, and then the last main event for a second one, and then Lockjaw Copperhead is the best one so far.
You cannot tell me this fight is better than Copperhead versus Lockjaw.
I didn't say. Like I said, that Copperhead Lockjaw is the best main event.
I'm talking to Pori when I say that.
I would say it's a better fight. Not by much, but it was good. I mean, look, if you had predicted it correctly, you would be right here with me, being like, "Yeah, this is really good." Like it's
not really, not really.
Okay, so now in terms of my thing on this fight, banger performance here. Endgame still has a few gremlins to work out, which they did discuss in the video they released today. With their forks primarily, since Witch Doctor turned the longest two into pretzels, we'll just say that. But before Endgame just beat the crap out of them. It was a good start from Witch Doctor, but then pretty much I feel like once they bent those two forks, like that just put them in reach of Endgame's vertical spinner, because like after that happened, Endgame got a few hits in, then Witch Doctor lost drive. Then we saw the big hit that knocked off a wedgelet. Then Endgame eventually disabled the Self-Rider, and Witch Doctor was stuck upside down. And yeah, so pretty good victory. Definitely a lot better win for the defending champ here. Here we'll have to see who they draw next for their third fight, and I imagine it's going to be a 2-0 robot and stuff. Maybe that'll be the robot tantrum we'll draw.
Rematch.
Yeah. and then we can see Endgame's fuck up Tantrum again.
Based. Yeah.
Damn, I think Civilian Arc left.
Oh,
Whatever. Anything else?
So,
But then with Witch Doctor here, in terms of, I think Endgame's definitely locked for the top 32. Witch Doctor, 1-1. What are the odds they're going to lose to Rusty? I think the odds of that are pretty low of that happening. But
I think if that happens, I'm going to make fun of Green a ton because Witch Doctor is his brand. And so if his brand loses to Rusty, I'm...
Except
what about you, Mister? I'm betting against my brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm going to bet it in the next fight. I think we know what its next fight is.
Yeah, but you would but you basically bet that Green would kick your ass. By the brands.
Probably would if I'm being honest.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like Green would kick my ass too.
Yeah.
But Endgame is 100% a lot. I mean, it's a defending champ. I mean, it could go 1-2 and they'd throw it in just for the drama. But it's this win was very good, and it's 2-0 now. Regardless of what happens in fight number 3, I think they're good. But I'm sure they'll at least put up a good fight in fight 3. Maybe they'll win it. Who knows? Witch Doctor, their first win was kind of weak. This was it was a pretty good loss, I'd say. They had some good moments. It was decent. But I think they do have to win their next fight. If it's Rusty, they're going to win it.
If they lose to Rusty, don't
if
put
they
them in
lose
the
to
top
Rusty,
32.
they don't get it. If they lose to Rusty, they don't deserve to be in the top 32. But also that's just another example of here we need to give this robot a free win, which I don't like, and we'll talk about that eventually. But yes, I think Witch Doctor, as long as they beat Rusty, they'll be good.
All right, I think that'll probably do it for this. Let's go ahead and get on to power rankings.
Wait, one more thing. Okay. You know who would beat Endgame?
No, actually, no shot. 100%
of the time.
No shot.
Yeah, you know what, Tori? I do agree with you. I do think Deadlift could beat Endgame. But something to keep in mind that, according to me, today is at opposite day, so I actually think that Endgame could beat Deadlift. So,
opposite day? What are you, 5 years old?
5 years old in your...
Yeah, he's 5 years
old. Sir? Okay, moving on to power rankings then. Okay, so now here's a better view of power rankings here. We got my power rankings after episode 5. Sawblaze remains at the top of the leaderboard right now with their 2 dominant victories. Uppercut and Endgame moved up to number 2 and 3, as both of them have had some very chaotic, destructive victories. But I felt like Uppercut has had the more impressive victories between the two, so I put them ahead of Endgame there.
And that's based.
Jackpot, Black Dragon, Rotator, Fusion are all still remain in the 4 through 7 area. They all dropped at least 1 or 2 spots, but that's kind of expected since they weren't in this episode, and some of them haven't had their second fight yet. Then Shatter moved all the way up to 8. Then Robot, Hypershock, Copperhead, Tantrum, and Scorpios all up there. P1 is probably my lowest 2-0 seed right now, because, like I said earlier, the Valkyrie fight could have been a little, it was a good quality opponent, but could have been a little more impressive, because the last half of the fight could have gone a little better, but the win over Jaeger was pretty good, but I think P1's a lock either way. Yeah, then Whiplash, Mad Catter up there. Witch Doctor didn't drop too much. Blacksmith stayed where they're at and stuff right now, but I think that's also because there were a few robots that dropped in power rankings and stuff that propelled them up to the same spot they were at last time. Valkyrie moved up into the top 32 after that victory. Then Gigabyte and Hydra hover down right below it after their wins. Claw Viper follows that. Then Dragon Slayer, who won their first fight there, and Blip, Captain Shrederator, Tombstone, Bloodsport, and Lockjaw down below there. A few of them fought in that episode. Riptide Minotaur Deep 6. Gruff barely hit my top 32 right now. I actually did not expect they were actually going to be in my top 32 as of now, but when I seeded all the robots for Civilian Arcs podcast that we recorded yesterday, sure enough, Gruff ended up being there. But
Go and check that out, y'all. It's fun.
yeah, and then notable contenders, because I do notables as usual. Retrograde, Mammoth, and Glitch are all at the top 3, and then Lucky and Yeti right below that, who both had reasonable losses. Yeah, so Pori, since you didn't submit any power rankings, what adjustments would you make to this one?
Let's see. I had Endgame at 2, but like that's not really uppercut Endgame. That's kind of interchangeable. I feel like I probably would have uppercut at 3 though, because it did lose drive and half its side at the free shipping fight, but it's not like a huge deal. I would probably have Black Dragon a little bit lower, but I think they'll come back up as soon when their second fight happens. Shatter's looking okay. Robot's looking okay. Hypershock, yeah. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's there. At most, there might be like some nitpicks, but I probably wouldn't put like Dragon Slayer seems a little high, maybe, but it's not like a big deal because I don't think they're gonna make the bracket anyway because it's only one fight in. But yeah, I mean, it's just little things, but it's not nothing severe.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's go ahead and get to Civilian Arcs power rankings, which he submitted in.
Buddy, I want to say the allegations are false. I did not do any of that, what they said.
What?
Wait, what? I'm confused.
Mantine's... I think Mantine's going to jail or some shit.
Damn.
Being accused of making a bet. There was no money involved.
Oh, that's what he's talking about. So yeah, Civilian was causing trouble in the.
But we're gonna involve money in Tantrum versus Gigabyte, right?
Fucking okay. I'll put money on the other fight that we think of.
What's the other fight?
You should put money on it. Just don't ask questions. Just bet.
What are you talking about?
Bro, you sound like a crypto bro right now. You're just like, yeah, just throw your money there without thinking about it.
That's exactly what I'm doing. You guys heard of Bitcoin?
Oh god. Okay, so here is my top 37. You got East bots like Sawblaze and Uppercut. Endgame, who if I didn't feel like getting harassed by the Endgame fan base, which I'm a part of, I'd probably have Endgame a bit lower, if I'm being honest, if I'm keeping it 55th Street.
Well, that's because you're just salty that you got that main event wrong.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Ribot. Can't wait to see Ribot lose its first main event ever, and then I'm gonna laugh at Pori.
Look, Ribot's not gonna lose any fight ever again. They're gonna be like fight force. They're gonna be unbeatable. They're going all the way. The frog is back.
Yeah, but we also got. Mantine, I'm gonna keep it 55th Street. You sound blurry as fuck right now.
Yeah, it's like some creepy pasta, dude.
Keep going, Pavel Arc.
Okay, so we also have bots like Fusion and Hypershock and Scorpios, who all are at 1-0, but pretty impressive 1-0s if you ask me. We also got 2-0 bots like Tantrum, Bot, Shattered, and Jackpot, and some impressive main event winners such as Copperhead and Whiplash. We also got lowest 2-0 P1. Yeah, I think P1's definitely the weakest 2-0 thus far. Rotator, who looked solid. Yeah. Black Dragon, who... Yeah, I don't even feel like going into this because I know Green will just disagree with me and Pori hates me, so I'm not even gonna...
What are you talking about? No, go into it.
True.
But, Claw Viper, who had an impressive win against, pardon my French, Riptide. Witch Doctor, who's at a solid 1-1 right now. Gigabyte, who's at a much weaker 1-1.
Days.
Hey, I just realized. Do I not have Captain Shrederator in my list?
I don't know why you would.
I don't know
Don't
why I'd
know.
have Gigabyte higher than Captain Shrederator. What?
Bruh.
Looks like you forgot it.
Yeah, I might
Wait,
have
what?
forgot it. See any reason
Okay.
I'd.
Hear me out.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna look
Shrederator.
at power rankings.
I have Captain
Very.
Shrederator. Yeah, Green. I have Captain Shrederator in between Blip
Oh,
and
yep.
Glitch. It should be
Yeah, you do.
23. Wow.
But I also see the edited mark down there. So
Why in the
I.
fuck is Yeti at 28? What did Yeti do?
What the fuck did Gigabyte do? You should be asking me that. Why the fuck do I have a
well,
Gigabyte
Gigabyte
in the
won a
top
fight
20?
though, so
Yeah, Yeti
Wait,
hasn't managed.
I have one question. Why is Dragon Slayer higher than Deep Six?
and why is
Uh,
Malice
Very
higher
true.
than Dragon Slayer and Deep Six?
Malice
fucking
actually
minute.
has good performances. Dragon Slayer and Deep Six do not have
No,
good
no.
performances.
It got blasted by Tantrum and then promptly blasted by Jackpot. What do you mean good performances? It got bullied
Malice
for like a
was
total
doing
of
well
5 minutes.
against. Malice was doing well against
Bro,
You're
Jackpot.
right.
Dragon Slayer spinner like spins at like 2 miles per hour. How is that a better performance than Deep Six? Deep Six like
Because
rip Pain Train's butthole
Was
open.
at least driving properly the entire
This
fight.
Deep Six
Six
was
was
too. You can't do sharp turns as Deep Six because it'll flip over because it's such a big freaking honking weapon. Like yeah, Dragon Slayer can turn because its weapon spins like
You're just
slower than I
jealous.
walk. But like
You're just jealous that you have that. You're just jealous that I have a Deep Six poker chip and you don't.
this
I
is
don't want
quite
to hear it.
possible.
You
This
know
is
who
quite possible.
you know who beat Dragon Slayer? You know who beat Dragon Slayer?
You've already said this.
Well, I know. Well, I'm gonna say it again.
Fucking saying that deadlift could be endgame and shit. You fucking weeaboo.
You're a weeaboo. I don't want to hear it, Mister.
Here,
I'm
keep going with your power rankings, civilian.
Yeah, okay, we got.
This is some of the worst power rankings I've ever seen in my life. This is
Mentine, you didn't even attend this podcast for like the majority of the fucking podcast. I want to hear it. Either be a part of the podcast or shut the fuck up.
Why is Valkyrie
Wow.
21? It got beaten by P1 and got a free win. Holy shit.
Bro, it gave out good shots to P1. I don't want to hear it.
It just got bullied and then died on its own. This is sick.
No.
I expect better from you. This is terrible.
No, you do not. You expect
What?
nothing from me, you favela.
Why is Mad Catter below Hypershock beat like a fucking
Because Hypershock's undefeated right now. What the hell?
Yeah, 1-0.
They got a free win, dear God.
I mean, yeah, they're going 1-1 this next week, but I mean,
Yeah, okay, no shot.
I wouldn't say
top-
no shot about that one because, yeah, which it's revealed through the main event T-shirt on Amazon that the next main event's Lockjaw and Hypershock, and that one I could see going either way.
I could go either way. Yeah.
what else do you guys have to bitch about my power rankings?
Okay, so
End game should be higher than Uppercut. Uppercut died.
No, it should not. No, it should not.
Based.
No. I am not putting Endgame over fucking Uppercut.
That's what I was saying.
I am not
Hear me
fucking
out.
doing. No, I'm fine. What do you want?
So Uppercut, while fighting free shipping, it died at the end on its own. That's not a good look. And
Endgame
beating
did
Witch
fuck all the
Doctor is
Hydra.
more, beating Witch Doctor in a very dominating fashion is more impressive than beating a full body spinner as a vert or beating free shipping a fucking wedge.
Yeah, but Endgame had a shitty fight. At least both Uppercut
It
performances.
wasn't even a bad fight. It was a good
solid.
win. What are you talking about?
God,
No, Endgame versus Hydra was a terrible win. It was
Okay. On that note, why is Hydra lower than Dragon Slayer? Like Hydra kept.
Hydra didn't do much to Gruff.
It Una the bot. Like, bro. Dragon Slayer literally just like survived against a robot that could do nothing to
This
it.
literally
but,
turned from a Green Square Talks Battlebots podcast to an Everybody Roast Civilian Arcs Power Rankings podcast.
I don't want to hear
Including
it.
the other thing I got,
I'm-
Rotator and Black Dragon at 15 and 16. How are they not higher?
I'm
Yeah,
replacing
Rotator-
civilian arc on the podcast. Sorry to break it to you guys.
I think Civilian Arc just puts the names in a hat and just draws them out. And he's like, oh,
I do
Blip,
that with
Blip doing better than Hydra. Yeah, okay, sure.
Blip is doing better than Hydra.
They beat
Dude,
Rusty.
Blip beat the
Bro,
second.
I
nothing.
I
Blip beat the
refuse-
third worst.
Rusty and Blip beat like a paperweight. And meanwhile, Hydra and Una the bot.
Yeah, Hydra
Blip
booted
beat-
like the worst grappler bot of all time.
Okay,
Yeah, Blip
listen.
beat the worst robot in the field. Your point?
No, hey.
Oh yeah, Duck.
Rusty is better than Duck. Thank you. Okay, that's all.
True. That's true. No, but still, Rusty is definitely a lower quality opponent than Gruff. Let's be real here.
Yeah, but Blip did much more to Rusty than what Hydra did to Gruff.
No,
Hey, Una
it was like the same thing. It was like the same thing.
Bro, Blip had so much better flips than Hydra did in that fight.
It's because Hydra wasn't at full power.
Yeah, Hydra still got an Uda on Gruff.
And
Oh,
in
wow.
all fairness, if Blip tried enough, it would have gotten an Uda too, but it just didn't because Rusty was fucking Rusty.
Also, why is Claw Viper higher than Gigabyte?
Oh my
you
fucking
serious?
god. Civ,
Bro.
Claw Viper
Claw
beat
Claw Viper
Are you
beat a
serious?
paperweight.
Are you seriously asking me what
Listen to
Claw
me.
Viper
Listen
is
to me.
higher than Gigabyte?
Listen to me, Civ.
What do you want?
Listen. Claw Viper beat an uninvertible, wedgeless vertical spinner. You can't tell me that's impressive. You can't tell me that's
And Gigabyte just beat a fucking Captain Shrederator that decided to kill itself. You can't tell me that's more impressive than what Claw Viper did.
Did pardon my French beat Tombstone? I don't think so, Civ. Sorry to break it to you.
Yeah, but Captain Shrederator also lost to like fucking Sub-Zero and shit, so I mean...
Pardon my French is 0-1, so I don't really think.
How is Malice ranked higher than Bloodsport?
Malice shouldn't be on this list. It's 0-2, you fucking ninny. God, you're useless, Civ. Jeez.
Okay, here's another question. How is Lucky above Hydra?
Bro, are you serious? Lucky did so well against Tantrum in the
He got
opening.
one flip!
Bro, and that flip almost did him in.
Yeah, Hydra's flip did do Gruffin. What are you talking about?
Oh my god. Dude, this is the worst list I've ever seen. You should die after this. This is brutal. Jesus.
Alright, I'm going to close out this podcast quick before we start roasting Civilian Arcs Power Rankings even more. So, I'll thank you for watching this podcast. Be sure to check out the next prediction podcast I end up doing over episode 6. Thanks for checking this out. Sure to hit the like, subscribe button. Poor Civilian. I'll add Mantine's video, YouTube video links in the description. And yeah, so check out their channels as they all post awesome content. And thanks for watching this. I'll see you for the next podcast.